Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is well. So, yeah, I'm super excited, and I seem to be more super excited these days about the smaller things that's happening around me and in my life. I finally got my website up, so you can't hear me clapping, but I'm clapping for myself. And my website is www.rewirethewayyouthink.com. So if you want to go check it out, let me know. If you want to let me know how you think it looks, it needs some more of this, some more of that, email me at jewhtk1@gmail.com. That way I can make those updates accordingly. Now, I can't take everybody's suggestions, so somebody's going to get vetoed. But I do appreciate it. So, anyways, y'all, if y'all didn't catch last week's episode, it's called Win the Morning, You're Gonna Win the Day. Okay. And in the episode, I talk about how do you start your morning off to have a great day. So check that out. When I was in my 40s, early 40s, I'm 47 now. Let me just share that with y'all. But when I was in my early 40s, I would always let everybody steal my power. They were able to steal my joy, no matter what. That's just how I was. I was cut at that time. I had no control over anything when it came to myself. Let me just say that for myself. I had zero control. Couldn't control my emotions. Couldn't control my behavior. And I sure couldn't control my thoughts at all. And because of that, the smallest things someone would say would hurt me, make me upset. And I'm a very emotional type person, right? And when I say emotional, there's two most popular emotions in this world today. The number one emotion is anger, and the second emotion is crying. And as y'all know, when men are upset, they're mad, they're yelling, and when women are upset, they cry. So that should tell everybody that statistic is true because we see it all day, every day. When a man is angry, he's mad and yelling. And when a woman is angry, she's crying and maybe could be yelling as well. So those are the two number one and number two emotions. I want to point that out. But I was a very emotional person. And my number one emotion, of course, because I'm a man, was anger. I would get angry. And when I get angry, I would just lose my marbles, no matter how you put it. Right. And I want to talk about this today because when someone would steal my power, steal my joy, make me angry, make me cuss or whatever, I would lose my power and I will become powerless. But we should be focusing on becoming powerful and staying powerful. Imagine this. The more powerful you become, the less powerless you are. And I'm going to say that again because some of y'all probably didn't pick that up right away. So I'm going to say it again. The more powerful you become, the less powerless you are. So you want to become powerful. And that is one thing that I've worked on with myself because I realized I was a very emotional person. When something happens today, I don't lose my power because I'm more powerful. There is nothing someone can do really to knock me off my square. I'm not going to really get angry. I'm not going to really yell. Now, I might get a little irritated or it might frustrate me a little bit, but I'm never going to go to the place I used to go before with anger. I'm just not. My life is filled with joy, not anger, right? And that's what we should be fighting for, to be powerful and eliminate being powerless in our life. Because when you're powerful, you could achieve anything or do anything in this world that you would like. But when you're powerless, you lose all power, no joy, no happiness, nothing. But I want to dive and talk a little bit about what does powerless look like, because some people got the notion in their mind in their own little bitty committee. Yes, I said it. Your itty bitty little bitty committee is telling you you are powerful, and in essence of that, you're really not powerful. You're powerless. So I wrote down powerless and I wrote down powerful. Let's talk about some traits of people that are powerless. No self-control. Boom. There you go. Says it all. Person that's emotional. Yeah, I know. Sometimes we cry and sometimes we get angry. But if you do it more than often, you're powerless. You can't control those highest two emotions in this world. Right? Number three, you have no future plan for yourself. You just live day to day. Whatever comes my way, if it's the highway, I'm riding it. Or if it's not my way, it's the highway. Right? So we have no future plan for ourselves. We fail to plan a future. Right? We don't know which way we're going. We don't know where we're going to end up. All we know is we just living in the moment. And it's okay to live in the moment. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if you have failed to plan for the future, I'm worried that what you think or where you think your life is going to end up, it's not going to end up where you think it is. Right? And then there's a couple more. When we're powerless, we become resentful. Become resentful of ourselves. We become resentful of people. We see somebody doing good and now we have an issue with them because they doing good. We get resentful about that sometimes. Right? I know I used to. I used to see a brother ride up in a car in a brand new Cadillac next to me. I'm looking in the mirror asking, how does he got a Cadillac and not me? What does he do better than me? Right? That was one of those things where I became resentful. When we're powerless, we be jealous of people, jealous of our cousins, jealous of our family member, jealous of our friends because we don't have the things, the assets, the money, the career that they have. And let me tell y'all one thing right now. I hear a lot of people say all the time, well, I'm not jealous, I have envy. There's a thin line between jealousy and envy. Let me tell you one thing like that. That's a thin line. So you could be envious today and jealous tomorrow. It's a thin line. So you got to watch who you say you envious against because envy turns into jealousy. Jealousy turns into resentfulness. Remember that. Last but not least, when you're powerless, you have hate for people. You don't like this person because they wear blue. You don't like this person because they said this in a manner that you didn't like the way they said it. So those are all traits of somebody that's powerless. Does that sound like you? Does any of those traits resonate with you? So let me say this. Now, just because just because you don't meet all those criteria for being powerless, doesn't mean you're powerful, or it doesn't mean you're not powerful. I feel like that at times you can have some traits of what powerless is, and you can also have some traits of what powerful is. But that's what you got to be able to separate and say, no, I'm not powerless. I have self-control. I'm powerful. Right? But just because you have self-control don't mean you haven't failed to plan your future. So y'all see where I'm going with these? They kind of go hand in hand, but I don't want you to get mixed up with what powerless is versus powerful. However, I would like you to meet all the traits of what powerful means. Probably not going to happen every day, but the majority of the time, your powerful traits should outweigh your powerless traits. All right. So let's talk about powerful. Number one trait is powerful is you have self-control, right? It's the opposite of powerless. You have no self-control, but when you're powerful, you got self-control. When someone comes to you and say something, they don't knock you off your square. It doesn't upset you. You don't get angry. You don't get mad. You don't cry because guess what? You got self-control. You can control your emotions no matter what happens. Now there's a time to cry and a time to laugh. But when I say a time to, that means you got self-control. You know when to cry and you know when to laugh. Next, when you're powerful, you have control of your emotions. I just said it. You have control of your emotions. You're not going to lose your cool. You're going to just let whatever happens. You're going to let it happen. When you think about it, you're going to be like, I could have lost my cool, but I did not. I let things just be. I'm very powerful. You hear people say all the time, like, man, that person said this. I'm so glad I didn't react the way I wanted to react. That's a trait of being powerful, right? Someone wants to knock you off your square and they did not. And you overcame that by not acting and being the way they wanted you to be, by being ugly towards you. So yes, that is a trait of being powerful. You didn't let them knock you off your square, right? Next, control your thoughts. Thoughts are going to enter the mind. Thoughts are going to leave the mind. Thoughts are going to come up on you without thinking about it. And thoughts are going to come up on you when you're thinking about it. But there's a level of how you allow thoughts to get to you. Negative thoughts come to me all the time. But do you think I let it sit in my mind all day long? Nope. I kick it out. I think of bad stuff all the time. Don't let it get to me. I just say, no, that ain't true. I've said this before, y'all, but when a negative thought comes to my mind, I kick it out and turn it into a positive thought. Coach James, you struggle just like everybody else. How are you going to help somebody? Because I've struggled before. I can help someone overcome the struggles I had before because I know what it takes to get there. Y'all see now I took a negative thought, a negative statement, and turned it into a positive statement? It's really what it all comes down to. But you got to do it over and over consistently on a daily basis. When a negative thought hits your mind, turn it into a positive thought. So back to what I said, a trait of being powerful means you have control of your thoughts. You may not control them all, but you're not going to react to them all. Okay. And not the reaction people want to get out of you. The next trait is that you make smarter decisions. You do. When you're powerful, you make better decisions. You don't just go out and just live in the moment. You really, really analyze that decision. Should I do this or should I do that? If I do this, this is going to happen. If I don't do that, this is going to happen. You really weigh and analyze the scenario. You make better decisions when you're powerful. You think about it, right? When you're powerful, you have self-love. A lot of self-love for yourself. And when you got self-love for yourself, you can love others around you. But if you got zero self-love for yourself, how do you love others? How do you reciprocate love and then give it back when someone is giving it to you and it's genuine? You can't because you have no self-love. Someone can't love you and you hate yourself. It just doesn't work that way. And you know how to understand it, right? So if you got self-love for yourself, you know how to accept love and you know how to push love back out, right? And you know the difference between real love and fake love. A lot of people be like, oh, I was in this relationship with this person and I loved them this long and I don't think they really love me because they did this, they did that. Look at everything you just said, what that person did. You know that ain't love. But when you got self-love for yourself, you don't allow people to take advantage of you. All right? When you're powerful, you have strong relationships. You build strong relationships, right? You know who you should hang around and you know who you shouldn't hang around. You know the people that you should build a strong relationship with, and you know the ones that you should just high and by type relationship, right? So when you're powerful, you have all these traits, you know all these things. You understand the world, you understand yourself. The last trait that I got on being powerful is gratitude. Being grateful for the small things that you have in your life. Because when you're powerful, you realize that there's things in this world that you don't have today, but you could achieve it in the future. When you're powerless, you realize you don't have these things today and you have a fixed mindset. Your mind tells you you're never going to have them because of whatever reason. But when you show gratitude for what you got, you work toward building to have more. So y'all, those are the traits between powerless and powerful. So I want you to really, really take and understand this and ask yourself that question. Are you powerless or are you powerful? And like I said, some days you might have traits of being powerless, but you're still powerful. And some days you might have traits of being powerful and you're powerless. But at the end of the day, your goal is to strive to be powerful. You want to have more powerful traits than you do powerless traits. That's really what it all comes down to, y'all. So the next time somebody asks you, are you powerful or powerless? You should be able to answer that question. And you look in the mirror every morning, you should tell yourself that you're powerful. You should speak it into existence. You should affirm yourself to know that you are powerful. And I tell y'all right now, myself, Coach James, I'm a very powerful individual. Hey y'all, thank y'all for listening. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, my website's up. It's www.rewirethewayouthink.com. Go check it out. Let me know what y'all think. If you have not followed the podcast, make sure you do so. Not sure what platform you own, but when you hit that follow button, you get an alert when a brand new one drops. I'm not hard to find, y'all. I'm on IG all day, every day. It's James Watkins at 40 and Fit Life Coach. If you're struggling today with thoughts of suicide, thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else, please don't hesitate to call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 988. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. And as I always say, practice daily mindset rehabilitation. And that's my 2 cents in it, y'all. Peace.